They have weaponized space through killer satellites, directed energy weapons, and more.
Never seen weather like that. It was a hurricane-force wind with fire involved.
3 major fires are still uncontained.
Are able to destroy the target with external heat.
Concerns tonight about the city's response and readiness. The monster flames quickly wiping out communities and historic landmarks. Fire hydrants running dry.
Water turned off as she defended her grandma's home with a garden hose.
I jumped on the roof and we were spraying the water. There was no water pressure. There was nothing.
We're watching the fires. Look, there's a plane. What the f is that?
What the f is going on?
They are preparing to attack the United States from American soil.
Making lasers a reality.
Go ahead.
Drones, fog, and fires. What's next? Are the LA fires connected? Is the Tesla Cybertruck Trump Tower incident connected? Get your glasses on, or magnifying glass if you have one, because we're going to be diving deep into these California fires, drones, fog, including things that are being hidden in plain sight. Now, what happened to those drones in New Jersey? I mean, for a whole month, we were seeing them, people were seeing them. I personally went from Florida all the way up to New Jersey. And trust me, that's a big deal because it is beautiful here in Florida right now in the wintertime. I did not want to be freezing my butt off, but I did the trip because I wanted to see these things for myself. And on the very first night, I saw what everybody else saw. Things that did not look like airplanes flying and hovering above our skies. And ever since we stopped hearing about the drones, things have gotten even more weird. And it's not because we haven't been seeing them still. There's people in New Jersey saying that they're still seeing them. I think the media just kind of got tired of talking about them. Here in Florida, I'm still seeing them. And before I get into the fires of California, I want to elaborate a little bit about what has happened in the last month. Now, like I told you, I visited New Jersey recently. I stayed there for a few days. And what I found a bit disturbing is that most locals that I came and approached with the whole drone talk, they had no idea what was going on. I wanted to get interviews from people there, and I didn't really get very many interviews because most people didn't know about the drones. Now check this out. This is crazy too. I talked to this store worker just a day prior, and they were working that day. They closed off literally half of the block in front of this store because of a reported drone crash. They had fire department out there, they had hazmat, they had the FBI, police. Everybody saw this, and still a lot of people didn't know what was going on, including workers from these stores that were seeing what was going on right in front of them. I went to this crash site to explore the day after, and we did find a couple of things that were a little weird. We weren't sure if it was things that were left over from the drone crash, but I still picked it up. I wanted to examine them a little bit more, and I did bring them to Florida, and we did a little bit more thorough testing on these materials. Check it out. All right, fam, so we're gonna examine the parts that we found at the drone crash site in Hillsborough, New Jersey, using this Geiger meter. We're also gonna try a couple random things. Like I got this fuse right here. This was kind of throwing off a little bit of radiation on the truck, but you know, nothing that was like alarming or whatnot. But I also have this water that we wanted to test out, and this water right here came from Kingsburg, New Jersey, and we're gonna test that because there's people claiming that there's some weird stuff going on with the water. All right, so why don't we try just like something random like that? And like that's a fuse, and you can see it's 0.1.
So the fuse ain't giving nothing off.
All right, now what about this stuff that we found on the crash site?
On 0.04. Whoa, it's starting to like spaz out.
All right. 0.6.
0.6.
That's not bad.
Which one of those? I wonder which one of those is doing it.
Yeah, move it around.
Separate
those.
those.
Debris.
All right, we'll
That's
do.
what I was trying to say.
This is like the biggest chunk right there. All right. Oh wow.
Oh my God, it's going up.
Yeah, it is going up.
That was like the truck right there.
I wonder if the radiation I was getting was from this.
Huh.
Holy shit, bro.
All right, it's going. See, it's accumulating.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's try this. What's that?
It's going crazy. buzzing. It's getting double digits.
Oh wow, that has like more radiation.
Holy shit.
Like he's like pulling it away and then.
Bro, no wonder why you've been sick. You're in radio-infested area in New Jersey.
Wait, that's even higher.
Bro.
Yeah,
0.4.
Wow.
1.4.
All right.
Got
Now,
up to
what about
14.
the debris right there? The landing pads. That look like it might be landing pads or something.
This right here. Ooh, that one's got really high radiation.
Whoa!
Oh my God!
Bro, it's going way
Whoa,
up, dude.
Dude, that one's got a lot of radiation on it. Look at that.
That's above normal. Look at the red lights on this.
Holy
It's about ready to
crap.
set the alarm. That's about ready to set the alarm.
Oh my God.
Dude, it's still going.
Look at
If that
that.
goes up any higher, it's going to start the alarm. All right.
Oh, it's actually beeping.
Dude, we need to get this out of here. We shouldn't be so close to
That's
it.
setting the alarm.
Wow.
We should not be that close to that material.
All right, so whatever this piece is right here
Bro, don't touch it.
has a lot of radiation. What about the water? It's been like 3 days.
Oh, God, it's been brewing.
Yeah.
Point 2 is normal background, but that's one.
Look at that.
Like
That's really high.
5 times.
All right, so Roland had to turn it off and on.
Yeah.
.03.
Had to get it back out of alarm mode because that when that beeps like that, that's alerting you that it's hazardous level.
So that's very dangerous.
So now we can do the water and see if water is holding any kind of radioactivity.
Want me to bring that closer?
Yeah. By the way, I did not give this water to my dog. I found bottled water in my car, but I had this just in case.
Bro.
Well, it's not going as up as the other one.
Dude.
Well, it's going
You didn't
up.
drink
Look at
this,
that.
did you?
No. I mean, I gargled with it and took showers with it.
Bro, this water is dangerous.
I'm going to back away.
I hope New Jersey, these cities know what's going on up
Well,
there.
I'm telling you, people have been reporting that their water's been tasting funny in parts of New Jersey. Somebody even said that their water tasted like nail polish. Literally radiation in the water. But most of the radiation is coming off of whatever these parts are right here that I found from the crash site where Hazmat happened to be digging around. I don't even want to touch it anymore. Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Look at it. It's about to get up to red, right?
You! I'm going to expose you to radiation if you don't get out of my garage. I definitely don't want to bury it by my well. I'll bury it. Maybe I'll even bury it on someone else's property. I'm going to touch this.
The alarm went off on
Radiation. I'm going to sell this on eBay. Sell it on eBay. I'll turn into like a superhero or something.
I'm turning Spider-Man now.
Yeah.
This dude just drank.
I'll turn into a radioactive man. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, I kind of disappeared off YouTube for about a week and a half, and for good reason. I got extremely sick after visiting New Jersey. And then this whole fog thing happened worldwide, and I honestly thought that it was normal because here in Florida, especially in the wintertime, we do get some fog when it gets a little bit cold. I mean, we get a lot of moisture here in Florida, so fog isn't something that we sometimes pay a lot of attention to, if you will. But things were getting very weird and people were taking notice because this fog wasn't just appearing here in parts of Florida. It was appearing pretty much worldwide. And why was this fog so significant? Well, check it out.
A conspiracy theorist, but I am. And so this falls in line. What the fuck is this?
I'm gonna turn my flashlight on.
What is this? This is not fog.
Oh my God.
This is Daytona Beach Shores, Florida at 1:45 p.m. today, and you can see the fog rolling in from two directions, but not in the middle part here where I'm about to show you. And then the next video that's about to come up right after this one is the balcony view, and you can't even see the ocean at all, and you can see this big ring here. Very strange, and it all just happened in a matter of about 15 minutes. Keep in mind there's no rain forecasted. It's not very cold outside. This is just very unusual to see and a very random time for fog to just appear. This is Daytona Beach Shores, Florida.
It smells. Can't see shit.
The previous video is going viral. If you go and read the comment section, everybody's saying they were completely fine. They didn't feel anything coming on. But then as soon as they went out in this fog, whatever it is, they got a sore throat. They had to go to bed. they couldn't sleep, they were bunged up, they had migraines, they lost all their energy. And not only them, everyone in the household. There's mums reporting on it saying all the kids are ill. We've got people in Kentucky, we've got people in Sweden, we've got people in Finland, all reporting the same thing. The fog has made them sick.
So it's crazy foggy right now. But that's not the weird part, okay? Like, number one, it's weird because as it gets later in the day, fog should lighten, dissipate, and it's really not. But the weirdest part is the taste and smell. It smells like after you set off a bunch of fireworks, and like the taste of the air is, I mean, the only word I can think of is toxic. It's super weird. And so I'm going for my walk, and it's kind of worrying me a little bit. Let me know if you guys are experiencing something like that. That's weird. Yeah, I mean, it smells not right. And I'm 41. I've been through fog. This is something different. Let me know if you guys are experiencing something like that.
I mean, this dude was letting you know that it smelled and tasted like some sort of toxic chemical in the air. And I also watched this other video of this woman saying that she was finding this like weird material left behind from this fog, and people didn't know what this material. It wasn't just her. I seen a couple videos on it. And before you start calling me a conspiracy theorist, this is real stuff, and it's never happened before. I've never heard of fog rolling in from one side to another and just doing really strange things. I mean, yeah, we might have some little particles here and there when you shine a light to it. I do agree with that, but this fog was very strange. And I have a rather unique perspective, including the whole fire thing that I'm going to share with you a little bit later into this video, and it's going to blow your mind. Just a theory, but it's a very interesting one. Don't miss it. So I've been working on this video actually for a couple of weeks while I've been sick, of course. I'm completely better now, though. Thank you for your prayers. I'm sure a lot of y'all that have been covering the drones and the fog and things like that, you probably came across this video, and it's deeply connected to the whole Tesla Cybertruck Trump Tower incident. And right when this happened, the internet was thinking the absolute worst. Now, Sam Shumate is a retired U.S. Army veteran. He's pretty popular online, and he got a pretty crazy email that he shares on this show. Check it out.
Tell me how you got the email.
All right. So for context, I've run this account for the last 4.5 years. There have been people in and out writing articles and different stuff and just investigations, some big, some small, just trying to keep accountability in the military, but developed a robust network within the military, all branches, and people feed into this and send me messages and here and there. Nothing ever like this has ever come in. But well, it started off as comments. So when you have a big Instagram account, you're going to miss a lot of messages because people message, go to hidden messages and everything else. You miss a lot of stuff. Well, I kept seeing this comment on recent posts that I put in there, and it was from this burner account that said, hey, check your DMs, check your DMs, check your DMs. So I go in there and try to find it. There's no message from this guy, hadn't come through or whatever. And then he messages again once that message was opened up. And I said, hey, your previous messages haven't come through. What do you want to tell me? And he said, what I'm going to send you, now these are literally his words. What I'm going to send you is going to change the course of humanity. That was his phrase, change the course of humanity.
That's a bold statement.
Okay. A little bit dramatic. I get these messages all the time. People have this big story they want to tell. They want to expose their command, whatever. I take everything with a grain of salt until I have evidence and proof. So this guy is insistent. He tells me that he is a 18 Zulu who I've spoken to before, and he really needs to get this stuff to me. And then he talks about you. He says, I need you to get me in contact with Sean Ryan. I'm like, dude, I don't know Sean Ryan. I'm not that big, but he's insistent that I get him diverted to media sources, says go to Fox News, whatever else. And I said, all right, tell me what you got. So I give him my Proton email account, give him my signal number, and he reaches out immediately, and I'm going to read this initial message for you because this doesn't have names or anything else on it, but this was his message on Sunday. He reached out and said, like I said, this last Sunday, he said, sending with a VPN active on Wi-Fi only. Do not message me. I will send out updates via both Signal and email, but trust me, you're going to want to be involved. Well, first of all, no, I didn't want to be involved. Anyways. And then, so I didn't message. I responded back to his original Instagram message, and I said, hey, I got your message on Proton Mail. And he said, cool, delete this. So I deleted it. That's how I ended up getting this message on Tuesday. So the message that this right here, this manifesto, if you want to call it that, came in on Tuesday. And when I started reading this, my initial take was, okay, this is off the deep end. It's bonkers. I can't validate or verify any of the stuff in this manifesto.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him that in a subsequent email. And I'll read that to you later, my response to him. And once again, my response to him elicited, hey, get me in contact with Sean Ryan, Fox News, and he even said Pete Hegseth. Get me in contact with Hegseth. And I'm like, dude, I don't have the incoming Secretary of Defense's phone number. Sorry, bro. That's the last time I talked to him. So yesterday morning.
What date was that?
That was Tuesday. That was this Tuesday. So we're Friday now. That was 3 days ago.
So
the day before.
30th?
Yeah, the day before the attack. I dismissed this stuff out of hand.
The 31st. It was on the 31st.
Yes. In fact, I posted something on my... I told your producer about this as well. But this was a post I made on Twitter. I was just trying to be humorous, off the cuff. It was... I didn't mean anything about it. I was just being humorous for my audience. I said, my inbox was especially eventful today. Allegations of war crimes, government anti-gravity technology, and fears about being tracked and watched by the feds.
This is literally the day before.
The world is ending and I have this information that needs to get to the media and never, how you doing, brother? Everything all right? I was just playing off of a meme.
Mm-hmm.
It was just supposed to be a joke. That was the body of his email that he sent me. And I didn't think anything about it. I didn't know who Matt Berg was, Matt Livelsberg, or anything else. He told me who he was in the email. He pointed me to his LinkedIn account. I didn't know any of this stuff. And I was just kind of being humorous with my audience. Like, I get these crazy messages sometime. And then the day after that message, I wake up and my buddy was like, hey, Sam, nobody in the community seems to know this guy. Do you happen to know who he is? And I played that for you before we came up here.
Do you want to read the email?
Yep.
Okay, this is the email. It's going to blow your mind.
He said, in case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes, he says drones, is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the US. Only we in China have this capability. Our OPCEN, that's Operation Center, our OPCEN location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comms system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive VBID. Let me pause right there for a second. So he says a massive VBID. When I was talking to the FBI yesterday, they didn't know what a VBID was. I had to explain what that acronym meant, literally.
You f***ing serious?
Dead serious. I said it twice and he goes, you said that word VBID. Can you tell me what that is? For your audience, a VBID, for your audience who has not been in the GWOT for the last 20 years, a VBID is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. In layman's terms, a car bomb, what we saw at Trump Tower. So backing up, he says, I am armed and have a massive VBID. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. Here's where he gets into the other stuff. And this is where we had to redact the names. Well, your producer redacted the names. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, D.O.D., DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcas, that's civilian casualties, that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA, an agent, redacted, of the DEA. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with, redacted, IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala Murghab. Redacted commander at the time, redacted can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Then he says, for vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion 10th Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access.
What is USAP? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is. But I checked his credentials on LinkedIn. So that was the first thing I did. I went to his LinkedIn page. First thing I noticed was all of his bona fides were in place. He has all the UAS training from USASOC and everything else. And so I said, okay, at least the guy knows what he's talking about with drones. That was a very rough dig into the guy. But my issue was I couldn't validate or verify any of this information. And I told him that. And how I responded to him was in a subsequent email. I said, this is obviously a very big deal, but I don't have anything to verify this information with. Talking about gravitic propulsion systems without evidence just makes me another UFO talking head. Like, I'm not going to go on my social media page and start talking about UFOs and anti-gravity systems and everything. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't. And he said, can I get on Fox News Contact on Signal as well as Sean's show? Hegseth would be good too. That was his last message to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, what is a gravitic propulsion system?
To be honest with you, it is a fancy term you're going to find in science fiction. You won't find it in any, as far as I know, you won't find this in any kind of official manual or, scientific research. This is all science fiction. He said gravitic propulsion system.
We looked that up last night too, and all we could find was same thing, science fiction type stuff.
So I want to pause that right there because they're talking about science fictional things. And I'm going to get to this video here that was actually filmed, I believe, in the 1980s, maybe even in the 1990s. And they were kind of elaborating on a similar thing. And I believe this was in the early 1990s. And he was talking about Area 51 here. Check it out.
What's going on in Area 51 today, based on information from first-person interviews I've made over the last 6 or 7 years, there are at least 8 black programs flying out of Groom Lake, out of Area 51. That does not count the B-2 bomber because it's not a black program. It does not count the F-117, which is virtually a white program today. There are at least 2 very, very high-speed aircraft that have been reported since 1982 is when we've heard the first reports of them. One of them is a small aircraft. It goes approximately Mach 4 to Mach 6. There's an aircraft that has been tracked out of the Bay Area TRACON in Oakland, California by the Federal Aviation Administration Center at least 8 times since 1986, flying in excess of 10,000 miles an hour going through controlled airspace, and a very, very large aircraft at that. Besides the 2 high-speed aircraft, there is a stealth or low observable electronic warfare aircraft. It's been referred to as Excalibur. There is an aircraft that is designed to fly very, very high, but very, very slow and very, very quiet. There's been some rumblings or reports as a flying triangle, much like the canceled McDonnell Douglas General Dynamics A-12.
I've seen the flying triangles.
That was going to be an attack aircraft. Just recently, out of Lancaster, California, taken off from Palmdale, which is Air Force Plant 42, and that's where the B-1 was built. The B-2 bomber is being built there. The F-117 is being serviced there in the U-2 operations. There has been at least 3 sightings of triangular-shaped aircraft being launched out of that area. They made no noise, and just the people just happened to look up and see these things leaving the area at relatively low altitude. But again, no noise.
Are there any unconventional technologies, propulsion technologies involved?
Yes, I have had the opportunity over the years to interview, again, people who have worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman
Groom Lake,
spent
Area 51.
12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, I said, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. I said, can you expand upon that? And he said, no, I can't. About a year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, you know, can you really tell me what's happening out there? And he said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025. But we have things in the Nevada desert that would make George Lucas envious.
2025.
Another individual who was an NCO, an E9, which is the highest grade you can get as an enlisted man. He's a chief master sergeant in the Air Force. Was a safety specialist. He had 3 different tours of duty at Groom Lake on various programs. Now, he had no connection with my friend who worked on the other black programs. We were talking, I interviewed him at Nellis in 1985, 86 time frame. And I said, what's out there? And again, he looked me straight in the eye and he said, we have things out there that are literally out of this world. I said, explain. He said, I can't. But trust me, see, we have things that are better than Star Trek, better than anything you can see in the movie.
So in this old video, he's talking about things that are being seen at Area 51 in the early 90s. They're elaborating on things that in 2025, they're going to start releasing info on. And Livelsberger mentioned anti-gravitic propulsion systems. These are basically aircraft that can do things that are not humanly possible. The FBI did chime in on this situation with the whole email thing, and they had this to say.
Yeah, so in terms of the so-called manifesto that's circulating online, we have strong evidence to suggest that it was the subject that wrote it. That evidence relates to other evidence that we're finding that we're able to compare that lead us to believe it was in fact him who sent it.
Now, what's really scary about this email, and we're going to get into the whole California fires here in a second because that is a huge story. But if this is all connected, I have to elaborate on everything. There's a lot of controversy surrounding this whole event that took place on the 1st, including the one that happened in New Orleans, but that's a whole nother story. My heart goes out to the families affected. Now, what was so important about this email that he wanted to get this information to everywhere? I mean, he was emailing and messaging pretty much everyone. I even checked my Instagram direct messages to see if maybe he might have messaged me. Of course, that didn't happen, but I mean, he was doing everything. He wanted to be on Fox News. Pretty certain that if they were to check their DMs too, that they would find a message from Livelsberger as well. He was trying to get that message out. He was also trying to get the message of these drones that we were seeing in the sky were not, in fact, imaginary. And we were getting gaslighted pretty much by everyone. And so were the people in power that were trying to figure out what was going on. They were also getting gaslighted. Here's a video that I found on the news where they were saying that these drones came from China, just like Livelsberg said.
Yeah, we want answers. The response that I'm getting is that we don't know whose drones these are. I was with the NASA administrator, Bill Nelson. He said that these drones have been reported over military sites, military bases. My judgment, based on my experience, is that those that are over our military sites are adversarial and most likely are coming from the People's Republic of China.
Do you think you'll be satisfied with what you hear today?
Probably not. I think they're going to say they don't know. And that's
exactly
a
what they're
concern in
saying.
and of itself, that if we have drones flying around military bases and we can't identify where they came from or who's responsible for them. I know there are a lot of commercial drones out there, and Secretary Mayorkas has talked about this. That's fine, but the ones flying over our military bases. By definition, I would say are adversarial. We need to know who is behind that because I believe they're spy drones. And the PRC, Chinese, Communist China, is very good at this stuff. And we know they bought land around military bases. This would be very consistent with their policy over the last couple of years.
So why does it make the most sense that these drones are from China? Now, for starters, the drone that I use, a DJI, and a lot of people use these drones, where do they come from? They come from China. There's so much cool technology when it comes to these drones. Not only are they the leader in creating these flying cameras in the sky, they're also creating recreational flying vehicles. What kind of drones are we talking about? SUV-sized drones. I made a video just last year explaining that China has caught up in the space race, and they have actually been to space a lot more than we have in recent years. Perhaps it's DEWs, aka direct energy weapons. And this is where we may need to put our controversy hat on, because it is getting weirder and weirder. Now, when we first started hearing about these wildfires in California, it was really nothing new. I mean, most people hear about wildfires. I mean, especially here in Florida, where I live, we have wildfires during these winter months where the air is a little bit drier and there's less humidity. So it was really nothing new when we first started hearing about them, but things rapidly changed overnight and got out of control. And the whole city of Los Angeles is pretty much a war zone, or it looks like a war zone. The whole fog thing was happening also in California. And there were some talks before these fires even started. I was doing a video on this right here. I'm going to share this video with you. I'm unsure where. I think this is somewhere in Asia, but this right here is a gas leak. It looks like fog rolling in when you see it. And watch what happens when this mother humper gets ignited. I mean, it is pure devastation. Look, that is not fog right there. Okay, and watch, boom. Yo, that is insane. That is insane. When we have higher risks of wildfires happening here in Florida, there's tons of warnings out to the public. And what are those warnings? No campfires, no barbecues. Don't be throwing your lit cigarettes out into the grounds. I mean, just simple things like that that you can get fined for and possibly do some jail time as well. Now, we don't know exactly how these fires started. However, there is tons of evidence online pointing in multiple directions. One of them being that there were no controlled burns prior to these wildfires. What does that mean exactly? Well, here in Florida, from what I've witnessed here personally, I mean, I live in a rural area and they always do controlled burns here. And what they do is they bring firefighters out and they will purposely control burn vegetation, you know, like out of control weeds, tons of dry vegetation. I mean, maybe even some trash. If a wildfire were to happen, it would destroy these areas that weren't cleaned up before. Now, here's another conspiracy for you. And I'm not sure how true this is. I did find this online, but there was insurance companies just a couple of months prior to this event happening, canceling fire insurance on thousands of properties in the Palisades and any areas that were near grassy fields. Did they know something that we didn't? Or maybe they saw that there was no controlled burnings going on and they looked at this as a high risk. It's really sad to see these firefighters out here trying to help, and they are helping. They're doing the best that they can. I just watched this video a little bit ago and it shows these firefighters literally using women's purses and filling them up with water, trying to put out these fires. And I watched even another one where a firefighter was using a cone. I mean, this is the USA.
I know they were messing with the water, letting reserves go for one reason or another. They've been doing that a while. California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do things. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, well, is it on purpose? Which it's an insane thing to think. But one begins to ponder.
Another thing that's really weird, and a lot of people are kind of focused on the Palisades because that's where most of the damage is happening in California, but there's other parts of California that are being affected as well from these wildfires, and there's a lot of people scratching their heads, and I am too, because how are these fires going from one city to another? And that goes to my second possibility. arson. A couple days ago, I came across a couple of videos and people were showing UAPs, aka things that are flying in the skies above these fires. And this is on live TV on the news. Check it out. There's one right there. What is that? I mean, unless somebody's shooting some fireworks off. But no, this is weird. It's actually like, it's flying really strange. I mean, what the heck is that?
Is the best place to go right now to click on all the links and get air quality reports.
There's no way that someone's flying through that fire that way. I don't know. That was weird. Was it perhaps one of these drones? Here's another shot here too. Something like flies in right there. Like it almost looks like a missile. Took this video yesterday, and I believe this is in Los Angeles, and you can see there's a homeless person right there purposely starting a fire on a building. I mean, is he cold? Maybe. And here's this other video too of another man starting a fire, and he's starting it right against all this dry brush. Anybody with common sense is going to know that that is a terrible idea. If you're wanting to get warm, if you're wanting to do a little campfire, you'd be doing it around dirt, not around a ton of brush. And then there's this video, and this one left me scratching my head. However, I do have another way to look at this. And you can see this guy, he's in a Tesla and he's beeping his horn at this individual. The dude just threw, like he's throwing gasoline in the road, like containers of gasoline in the road. Now here's another way to look at that. He was going towards this fire and this smoke. Maybe they had a container full of gas that they had filled up, and maybe it was for their lawnmower or generator or whatever the case, and they were just trying to get rid of it because they did not want their car to catch on fire. This video, however, without a shadow of a doubt suggests that there is arson going on in that area, and check it out. And it starts out with this neighbor. He's pointing at this individual. He's got lighter fluid in his hand. He's got a lighter, and he's purposely trying to light things on fire. Why is he doing this? I mean, they tried to do a citizen's arrest. I mean, you can see some craziness happening here. Watch this. Yeah, he's telling them to put things down. This is terrifying.
He started the West Hills fire because that was started at a parking lot. He's going to come over here and light up this area.
Oh my gosh. No, this is crazy. I can't even believe it because I'm like
a 30-year-old guy, you know.
Crazy because I'm like, how does a fire jump literal cities?
I know.
That was my question.
There, but all the way over
exactly.
To West Hills,
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
okay.
All right.
Thanks for letting me know, guys.
So we know right there, based off this video evidence, that there is arson going on in Los Angeles with these wildfires. But explain to me how a fire started here on this palm tree with no fires anywhere near it. Check this out.
How the f does that even happen? Bro.
Look, no fires anywhere. So some may argue that that fire could have been caused by a ember. However, there's nothing nearby that is on fire in this area. And that goes to my third possibility, D.E.Ws. Big shout out to my boy Drew for sending me this information because I had no idea. Direct energy weapons are something that really do exist today. Check it out.
They have weaponized space through killer satellites, directed energy weapons, and more in an effort to exploit our systems and chip away at our military advantage.
From the Pentagon.
Directed energy weapons, also known as D.E.Ws, are weapons that deploy a highly focused energy beam, including lasers, microwaves, and particle beams. After decades of research in the United States, defense contractors announced back in 2015 that these systems are expected to come online by 2020, and are currently announcing that they are ready to deploy in the field. Russia, China, India, and the UK are developing directed energy weapons as well. And Iran has had them in use since at least 2013. In 2019, Turkey was the first to officially deploy this technology in combat when they claimed to have shot down a Chinese-made drone supplied to the Libyan National Army.
Chinese-made drone?
On September 16th, Defense Secretary Mark Esper announced that China and Russia have already weaponized satellites with directed energy weapons.
Meanwhile, in space, Moscow and Beijing have turned a once peaceful arena into a warfighting domain. They have weaponized space through killer satellites, directed energy weapons, and more in an effort to exploit our systems and chip away at our military advantage.
And for the past few years, many have wondered if these advanced weapon systems have anything to do with the unprecedented fires we have seen in the past few years. Laser-based weapons are able to destroy the target with external heat.
This is before California, okay?
Are designed to penetrate the target through external antennas and sensors and ignite the internal electronics, destroying them from the inside out. This could explain how thousands of homes have rapidly burned into their own footprint, while the trees surrounding them survive.
I found another strange video about D.E.Ws, and this was a week before the California fires began. It's like they were trying to warn us folks that are staying vigilant.
Lasers sound like the stuff of science fiction, right? Sound completely unbelievable. How could our military possibly be using those in future warfare? Guess what? We've just had a recent breakthrough, more great test results that are making lasers a reality. So it's called Athena. Lockheed Martin makes it, and they've been doing a lot of the pioneering in this laser field. Now, what's really exciting about it is that it's so hard to harness that much power and make it compact enough that's actually going to make practical sense downrange. And they've proven that they can do that. Recently, they tested it against 5 moving drones, so realistic drones that they might go up against with, enemy forces might send against us, for example, or terrorists might send against us. And it successfully shot down all 5 of the drones. This is huge news because it means that in a realistic, practical setting, it's looking very promising. So it could be ready to field quite soon. So when you see the movies or you look at comic books or television shows, when you see the laser weapons, they tend to be a color, right? Red or green or something like that. Real lasers, one of the key advantages that they provide is that they are invisible. You actually can't see them. You just see this damage suddenly starting to blow something up. So if we take a look now at what the Athena did to a truck. So we're looking at a truck engine, and the Athena within seconds was able to beam right in there, heat the whole thing up, and burn through the engine of this vehicle. So if you can imagine if you were in that vehicle, all of a sudden, this hole would start appearing. That's what these lasers do. Now, there's some other key advantages that we should mention. Let me give you 3 of them. 1, unlimited ammo. As long as we have power, we have an unlimited magazine. Downrange, of course, having unlimited ammo can be a huge advantage. 2nd, it's silent. You don't give the enemy any advance warning that it's coming. And then the 3rd one I wanted to touch on is that it travels at the speed of light. So not only are we delivering powerful, decisive effects, lethality, we're also doing it so rapidly they don't know what hit them. So if you can circle back to that example of being in the car again, that would happen so instantaneously, within seconds, we truly would have no idea what was happening.
As I'm editing this video, I came across something that kind of goes hand in hand with the whole D.E.Ws. Very same thing happened in Maui during their wildfires. Supposedly these lasers aren't effective over the color royal blue, which is another strange thing. China knows this, and they've been painting their roofs blue. Just another interesting tidbit for you. Direct energy weapons. We know they exist. It's not an old technology. Tons of other countries have this technology. We have it as well. Are we at war and we don't know it? We all know how well our government is about telling us things that we should know, or maybe we shouldn't for our own safety, but they have not been good at being transparent with the American people. Maybe there's a reason, maybe there isn't, but there's something happening, and I already knew that this was happening a year ago. And you can call me crazy all you want, but I started preparing a year ago because there was a lot of things happening then that maybe you forgot about. Let's not forget about the hack that happened with AT&T when a ton of people for a whole day lost their cell signals.
Massive nationwide cell phone outage.
It disrupted cell service for millions of customers.
Outages across the country.
People noticed their phones weren't sending or receiving messages.
I'm lost and my phone's not working.
The screens read SOS.
It's possibility of a cyber attack.
And then shortly after, Instagram and Facebook went down. And this is right around the time that there were talks about canceling TikTok, which is also linked to China.
There was also a huge hack on our healthcare system, and all of that was allegedly linked back to China. And of course, people tend to forget about the Chinese spy balloon that got shot down not long ago. If this was China, why are we under attack from China? Well, in my video that I made about a year ago covering the same subject, I go into further detail about Taiwan, which China is trying to take back. How does China take back Taiwan? They disable their biggest threat, the United States. So I did share with you that towards the end of this video that I was also going to share not only why I'm not worried, but also another controversial subject. So technically, so many parts of the world are experiencing fog. Now, you're probably going to call me crazy, but when I watched this video, I was instantaneously alarmed because this can't happen. I also uploaded a series of videos a year ago covering the whole Miami Bayside Marketplace incident where people were reported seeing aliens and UFOs and things like that. And people in my comment sections were referring to Project Bluebeam. And one of the methods tied behind Project Bluebeam is holograms. This is a hologram from a projection system, just one that you can buy at Best Buy, and it's using a steam of some sort to project a 3D rendering right there in front of you, almost to look realistic. I mean, this is nothing crazy as far as technology. It's just a simple bit of steam, and the projector is simply shining this light against this steam or fog. Could this be the reason why this fog started appearing out of nowhere? Could it also be the reason for all the smoke that's being seen in California from the wildfires? Like I said, it's just a thought. It's a theory. It's not factual, but it's something that we can factor in. Unless it's Mother Nature, aka an act of God. And what's even crazier is that all of this is happening on the Pacific Ocean. And some people, including myself, are wondering, why can't they use the Pacific Ocean to help with containing these fires? Why don't you use the water from the ocean? And there's some arguments saying that the salt water can damage the soil. But from what I'm seeing here, they pretty much said, F it.
I've never seen that in my life.
I've never seen this either. They have these ginormous airplanes that carry tons of gallons of water, and you can see they're doing it right here. They're picking up tons of water. At first, I didn't know what I was looking at. I thought it was just the airplane kind of hovering over, but no, it was touching the water. It's picking up water from the ocean, and they are dropping it right on these fires. So I guess these homes and people's lives are a lot more important than the soil. Hey, we can fix the soil later on. How about the soil not be contaminated with plastic and toxins and bad air? If you don't have any water to put out these fires in the fire hydrants, you have a plethora of water right there that neighbors this entire city. This to me is probably the scariest bit of footage that I've seen on these fires. It is windy there. Now, I mean, if I seen a fire like this even getting close to my house, I would not be there.
You okay? You're gonna be okay. Hi.
You're gonna be okay if you leave the house. You need to leave. That's so bad. It can't be healthy even breathing that smoke.
Don't worry about that, dude.
That's crazy. Like, that is terrifying. These fires are still going on today. And I would hope that if somebody's being told to evacuate their area, you know, take whatever matters to you, take what's important to you, and get the heck out of there. I mean, it's not worth your life. It's not worth any of your loved ones' lives to stay behind. I mean, you could always rebuild. No, it's easier said than done, but I would much rather be alive. Wait, here's a video right here too of these young men carrying garbage cans filled with water to help their neighbors put out fires. I mean, let's talk about these people also, okay? This is not all bad news. We can really see our community coming together in California. I have friends there, like I mentioned. I'm praying for them. But I mean, they're coming together as a community and helping each other out, and not only helping people out, but check out these firefighters. Like, this broke my heart to see. You know, the firefighters don't have water in the fire hydrants, but it doesn't mean that they're not out there busting their butts trying to help people out, and even in this case, helping out our animals. This is so sweet. This firefighter takes this dog, puts it over their shoulder, and oh my God, this like this made me cry. Like, I mean, that dog looks so sad. Shame on whoever left their dogs behind. I mean, you can see that they're out there making a difference, even to our dogs. What is going on in our world today? It seems, I mean, for the 40-something years that I've been alive on this earth, I've never seen anything like this so close together too. I mean, I've seen catastrophe, I've seen wars, I've seen a lot of strange happenings, but I've never seen anything like this, and I'm sure you haven't either. And on my final thought as to what's going on in our world today and why I am not worried, even though a lot of us are, and I'm sure this is probably going to offend some of you guys here, and it's okay if me not worrying offends you, but I have the peace of God in my heart. I have happiness on my side. In Psalms 56:3, it says, whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in you. 56:4, in God I have put my trust, I will not fear. And this one's my personal favorite in the New Testament, 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind, or self-control. Why am I going to be worried? Jesus himself even said, who can add an hour to his life by worrying? And that's some truth times 100, even if you are an atheist and you do not believe in God. And if you don't believe in God, that's okay. I'm not going to sit here and ridicule you for not believing in what I believe. That's your choice. This is my choice. I had a dream when I was a teenager, and if you want, maybe I'll make a full video on this dream because it was quite profound. But in this dream, I was visited by angels. I was only 16 years old. I had no idea what this dream meant. And in this dream, an angel visited me and told me to get God's people ready. And if we are going through war right now and we just don't know it, I'm not going to sit here and worry about it. Yes, I'm going to be concerned, and I will prepare the most humanly way possible that I can prepare. But when it comes to bigger things that are bigger than me and you, what I'm choosing to do is trust in God. And hey, if it's my time, it's my time, and I know where my soul is going. And I'm really happy about that. And if you're happy that way, it shouldn't offend anyone.
If you made it to this part of the video, you're in for a real treat. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to them. Oh my goodness, we have a ton of hungry little guys here. Hi, Ducky. You guys want some food? Here, I'm gonna give you a little bit. Oh, yummy. All right, you guys be nice to each other. You be nice. Hi, Tommy boy. How you doing, Tom? You want some food? This is not the food that I have for you, though, but yeah. Get a little bit there. Got a couple hungry cows that way. We have a hungry Billy. That's his name, actually. What's up, Billy boy? Mona, Lily, you want your food? Okay, I guess not. Hi, baby. Gracie's one of my livestock guardian dogs. She's a sweetheart. There's my other one. That's Dak. Hi, guys. Hi, Choo-Choo, Lucas, and Billy. Got all the boys together and all the girls together now because they're getting ready to have some babies here soon. I think there's a little bit of inbreeding going on. Maybe not. But Louise is definitely pregnant. Not sure about Fifi. Fifi's, I don't know. She's always got a big belly. Hi, babies. You guys hungry? And this is one of my favorite goats. That is little Choo-Choo. He's my special needs goat. Almost died. And he's one of the smallest goats, him and Fifi. Guys, want some yummies? Oh, that's so good. Oh, poor Choo-Choo. Choo-Choo, I'll give you some again. I was going to give some to the cows, but I don't think they want anything to do with it. These guys eat right out of your hand, too. Now, another reason why I think it's awesome that you made it to the end of this video is because I'm going to share with y'all some pretty good news. Tomorrow, I'm actually heading out to LA to not only document what's going on, but I'm going to go to help. Now, a couple nights ago, I was watching the news and they shared these TikTok influencers coming together for the community and bringing clothes, water, any type of essentials in this huge parking lot. Where they first started, which was kind of sad, they were kicked out, and this was all for the people that had lost homes. A lot of people aren't thinking about this. Some of these people that lost homes, I mean, they also lost refrigerators full of food. So I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that are hungry. And I mean, I just thought this was one of the sweetest things, seeing a community of people coming together and doing for their fellow man. When I saw this, I was like, wow,
You know, how cool would it be to, you know, pack up a van full of some essential stuff and maybe bring it out to this area and, you know, talk to people, maybe hug them, pray for them, and donate some of your time to these families that are hurting and struggling. So my original plan was to fly into Vegas tomorrow, and I rented a minivan, and I was just gonna pack up some things myself. And I got to thinking, there's some of y'all that I'm sure wanna contribute, but I mean, you just don't know who to trust. And I'm with you there. This is why me personally, I like to do things on my own, because I don't know when I donate my money where it's going. I've never done anything like this, but hey, if you wanna be a part of something huge and at the same time know 100% without a shadow of a doubt where your money's going, because I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna leave my PayPal information here down below. There'll be a link down in the description. When I was watching the news and they were talking about some of the essential stuff they needed, I mean, it looked like they had a plethora of clothes. I know that they're running out of water, and one of the biggest things that people don't really think to donate are diapers and wipes. So as soon as I fly into Vegas tomorrow, that's one of the biggest things that I'm gonna buy: diapers, wipes, and water. And I'm gonna personally deliver it myself, and I'm gonna show you on video as well. And this isn't a one and done type of deal. I know that there's gonna be people hurting in this part of California for probably a long time. So I'm willing to help. And I understand that this is a really hard time to be asking anyone for help when it comes to a good cause, especially being that Christmas just passed us by. And I totally understand. Times are hard for me as well. But that doesn't mean that you can't help contribute, especially right now. What can you do? You can start out with praying for these individuals. Pray for their safety, for their broken hearts. Pray for their needs to be cared for right now, their housing situation, and pray that things will not get worse for them. You could also donate your time if you're in the area or if you're not in the area. I'm not in the area, and I'm gonna fly over there tomorrow, and I'm gonna donate my time. In other words, there is so much that one person can do to make a difference in the lives of those hurting. I'll see you on the next one. Gotta go for now before we leave. Give me a kiss. Peace.